I can't believe how much worse than Morbius Kraven, the Hunter's box office is currently set to be. It's no secret that Kraven the Hunter wasn't the hit that Sony hoped for, but I'm surprised to see just how badly it's doing. The film was essentially doomed before it even premiered. The reputation of Sony's Spider-Man universe was already at an all-time low thanks to Morbius and Madame Web, leading to the inevitable end of the SSU. The fact that Kraven the Hunter was premiering in a dead franchise was enough to deter people from seeing it. For those who did see Kraven the Hunter in theaters, most audiences left unimpressed with the quality of the film. While the main actors did a decent job in their roles, it was no use due to the poorly written script and the distractingly bad visual effects. Characters and a story that actually had potential were just executed in a painfully average project. It's not the fact that Kraven the Hunter is a box office bomb that's surprising, but rather the fact that it may be the worst performing film in the whole SFU. Kraven the Hunter's current box office is less than a third of Morbius' final box office numbers. Kraven the Hunter has only made $59 million at the box office after a month in theaters. It is nowhere near the point of making back its estimated $130 million budget, and it's currently on track to being Sony's worst-performing SFU film. It's not shocking that the film bombed, but it's shocking just how badly it's doing. The most surprising fact is that Kraven the Hunter's current box office is less than a third of Morbius' final box office numbers. Morbius' final worldwide box office number was around $162 million, which is not great for a superhero film from a big studio, but still notably better than Kraven the Hunter. Although Morbius ended up making more than Madame Web's $100 million, many would probably agree that Morbius takes the title of the SAU's least popular film. Keeping that in mind, and the fact that even a re-release in theaters didn't bump up their numbers, Morbius doing considerably better than Kraven is baffling on all fronts. Kraven the Hunter's box office future isn't looking promising. There is still a bit of time left in Kraven the Hunter's theatrical run, but it likely won't affect its box office numbers much at this point. The film has entirely lost what hype it had, even if the hype had been garnered from the film's flaws. Those who wanted to see the film in theaters already have, and they have little desire for a rewatch. Especially with big superhero films like Captain America, Brave New World, and Superman constantly dropping new previews, Kraven has long been buried on social media. Kraven can pride itself on being a better film than those two projects, but that mediocrity won't drive people to go out of their way to see it in theaters. Morbius and Madame Web were trolled online on a much larger scale than Kraven the Hunter, but that actually worked in the SFU's favor. Morbius and Madame Web were so bad that it spawned a meme culture on social media, which ultimately motivated people to see it in theaters just for the irony. Kraven can pride itself on being a better film than those two projects, but that mediocrity won't drive people to go out of their way to see it in theaters. Fans instead just interpret it as the SFU film that exists with little to joke about. Why Kraven the Hunter might end up having the lowest box office in Sony's Spider-Man universe. On top of Kraven the Hunter being painfully mediocre, it is the seemingly last film in a dying franchise. Sony ruined any chance of the film having a decent box office when they announced the end of the SSU just days before Kraven the Hunter's theatrical release. Even if the SSU were to miraculously continue after the terrible year they had, Sony has made it clear that the franchise won't feature Spider-Man. There's little interest in a universe centered around Spider-Man characters that won't feature the titular character. Seeing that there's no investment to be had in the film's universe anymore, audiences didn't see the point of tuning into Kraven the Hunter. The end of the SSU means that Kraven will be the official last entry, which would cement its spot as the lowest box office in the franchise, even if some may argue that it doesn't necessarily deserve that title. Kraven the Hunter isn't a terrible film, but the little glimpses of quality that it does have are somehow what takes away from its theatrical draw.